for the fourth time as we escape the baby segment. Okay, what else happened? I finished Ragebound, Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, cool.
Went back to clear that off because I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm getting there. And yeah, sure enough, short and sweet. Excellent game, just really cool. Well planned, a lot of fun with the sort of throwback Ninja Gaiden stuff and new stuff as you have these really fun bounce off of bullets and deflection segments and things like that. And then very much made for speed running and replaying and getting your scores and all that stuff like we talked about last time, so a really fun system where you kind of are playing two characters in one, integrating with their moves with each other, and like a lot of different ways to approach some of those boss fights, which are fairly challenging right out the gate. And it makes sense because Ninja Gaiden, the original series, was hard, and then the newer games, the 2000 Ninja Gaidens were also hard. So this is kind of part of the brand identity, And I really liked it, and right afterwards, I was curious. There's a really sick kind of like final sequence also that's like a really fun, like limiters off type moment, You always have your little Vanquish style like outro sequences. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so I was really curious. So I was like, now that I've played that, how is Shinobi doing? So I jumped over and I popped in Shinobi and I played that for a bit.
That game's great.
It is. Now you've played a bit of both, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now it's interesting because it's not the most direct comparison because they're not going for the same things. However, if I can be real here, and I know this is probably an unpopular opinion, I have more issues with Shinobi so far than I do with Ninja Gaiden. Yes.
What's that?
Playing the two of them, I'm like, oh, there's the main thing that's different about them besides the fact that one is small, contained Metroidvania like levels that are open and stuff, and the others are just like traditional kind of NES progression. Ninja Gaiden is a case where your character can do a couple things. You have a pretty simple but good move list, and the enemy placement and progression of the stages is fairly challenging. Off rip, you can make it harder and progress and go and add to it. There's things you can do to make it harder as well by trying to like maximize your style points and everything. But for the most part, placement of enemies is kind of bullshit and coming for you, and the world is more challenging and things are aggressive. Bosses are also coming at you much more aggressively as well.
Mm-hmm.
In Shinobi, you have a beautiful art style. You have a character that feels so fucking fun to do combos with and has a really generous, free-flowing, like 2D character action style. Lots of relaunches and ability to juggle corpses and do some stylish things. And nothing in the world is actually trying to hurt you, and nothing in the world is actually being aggressive so far. And even the more
it's coming from like the old Devil May Cry standpoint of enemies are there to be killed and styled on.
And like one of the things right off the bat is like, oh, touching enemies does not hurt you. You can walk up to them.
We have some words to talk about fucking contact damage this week. Let me tell you.
Okay. So there's no contact damage on the enemies, and in fact, they only hit you when they swing, right? So you can design your game to be that way, certainly. Like there's a lot of character action games that do work that way. But if you're going with that style, right? I think if you're going with no contact damage, then the level of aggression I would expect, especially on the hardest initial difficulty that you could pick, booting the game up, would be much higher. I really kind of found that like the game is super stylish and fun while you're comboing the shit out of everything, but not much is challenging you or doing a whole lot to really do anything.
So it's really interesting that you're bringing this up, Woolie, because I have an incredibly similar discussion to add to this later. I'm not going to get there in this conversation. It's too broad, but I'm literally going to point at you and say, Wooly, we are starting to lose touch.
Oh,
because
yeah.
we are freak beasts at this shit.
I saw the thread, so I know where you're going later on.
We are starting
I know what you're talking about.
Like lose touch with like normal humans.
Okay, but that part aside, I know what you're going to get into, but that part aside, really, when you walk up to a room full of enemies, they have very, very basic, and it's the beginning of the game, so I'm like, okay, this is going to be a little bit. So I went a little bit further, and I got about, I played about 4 hours. I got through, you know, like 3 areas of like stage thing, you know, and some of the areas there's like the bosses are kind of very, very like passive with it as well, very slow patterning on them, lots of downtime in between actions. And then the challenging things where they're like, hey, only open this up to unlock a special challenge thing. These are harder enemies that are more elite. And they so far were...
They're not that much more elite.
No, they just have more armor. They're the
slightly
same...
more elite.
Yeah, they have more armor, and you have to break that one armor shield down to then make them a normal enemy. But it overall was like, oh, yeah, besides comboing on these dummies, the challenge here is extremely minimal. And the game is gorgeous and it's fun to progress, and the platforming is a lot of fun too because of all your movement options. But combo beasting aside, I want a game with enemies that are doing more. And I did appreciate everything else that was going on with it, but like, you know, a Lizard Cube is you know, it's kind of like similar to Streets of Rage 4. The ability to like juggle the corpse and do a bunch of cool shit is like, you know, they put a lot of attention into that, and they made sure that your move list from the moment you start, from off rip, is pretty extensive. But it seems like either I'm gonna have to go, you're gonna have to wait quite a bit for the challenge to kick in, or unlock a different difficulty or so, because it does feel like if this is what the, you know, this difficulty, the Shinobi difficulty, is going to kind of be like for now, I'm like, I was having a bit more fun where Ninja Gaiden, you have a little bit less options, but the stage is much more aggressive coming at you. And like,
as you would expect from Ninja Gaiden.
As you would expect, yeah. And I was like, I was having more fun with that, you know? So,
well, Wooly,
quick comparison point for those two games.
Do I have good news for you if you're looking for a side-scrolling game that will kick your fucking teeth in?
Hold the thought. With Shinobi, did you feel any of that at all?
Yeah, I didn't feel challenged by it at all.
Okay. It was mainly just how to combo things,
whereas Ninja
right?
Gaiden, every now and then the level would like in classic Ninja Gaiden style, the level would be like, I'm throwing a bird at you while you're platforming, and I'd be like, oh fuck.
Flip out, die, you know. Yes, exactly, right? Okay, cool. And what I'll say too is that like the purest form of like when you can do cool comboing stuff is against bosses in Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. And the difference between like the volley of attacks and like the amount of phases they go through and stuff is just like, it's so far, it's just night and day, you know? So anyway, all that to say, it's still a really cool, gorgeous game, looks and sounds amazing, and it's a ton of fun to combo the shit out of everything. But even with the adaptive difficulty, where you can customize it, like, you can't dial it up yet. I hope you can unlock things to dial it up, but that's my biggest complaint with the game so far. So
yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous, but it really doesn't push back on you at all. It's like it's like a it's like a 10 out of 10 that just lays there.
Yeah. Need some pushback. Come on, right? Put some effort into it. So yeah, that's it.
I'm doing all the combos.
You know, I know that you're gorgeous, and I know the music is amazing, and the voice acting is cool, but that's it. It's all just that's what we're coasting on. No try. Yeah. Also, I have fond memories of. So Ninja Gaiden, I remember playing with my friends back in the day. Shinobi, I didn't really, but I remember watching my friend play Shadow Dancer. So I have strong memories of like ninja and dog running through the city doing cool shit.
I played Revenge of the Shinobi 3, which is Shinobi 3, to completion minutes before playing Art of Vengeance. Because it is basically the sequel to that game, like the run and the white outfit and all that stuff.
Well, Shinobi, but Shinobi 3, not Shadow Dancer though.
No, not Shadow Dancer.
Okay.
And
the Shadow Dancer has the dog.
Yeah, Shadow Dancer does have the dog. And like I was emulating it, so I do some rewinds, but like compared to like Strider or Ninja Gaiden or something like that, like no, it was like way closer to what you would think of as a normal video game by today's standards back then on the Genesis. And there's a bunch of levels that are just one-to-one remakes, like falling off the cliff and jumping in the platforms on the falling rocks. That's just a straight up remake of a Shinobi 3 stage. And they're kind of about the same difficulty. Like and when I was playing through Shinobi 3, it really stood out to me is that like you throw a dart at somebody as soon as they come on screen and they don't even get to activate their attacks; they just die. Right. And then even in this case now, you throw one kunai out, and then you can track right to it if the person if they get activated for their like instant kill attack or so. But I'm also looking at it like, so the kunai is like a juggle tool, right? That you can use to extend your combos and like, you know, zip around and bop them up and stuff. And you can get an upgrade that lets you throw out 3 kunai or throw out multiple kunai in a combo. And I'm like, I don't want regular gunshot replaced with color up the entire time. I want the ability to throw a single kunai out when I need a juggle and give me the option to do 3 or do the 3 within the combo, you know? So you can deactivate and reactivate certain skills and spells, but stuff like that are permanent upgrades that take away something that might be useful for certain combo moments. So I was like, don't do that. Let me take that off, you know? It's a weird situation where Shinobi feels like they put so much into it that there's less of it. Like they gave the player so much ability for player expression that enemies don't really have any ability to express themselves at you. They don't. And what I'm reminded of is like, I'm kind of, when I'm playing it, I'm enjoying it. It's cool, but I'm kind of like going like, Strider 2014. Like, I liked Strider 2014, and I felt like it had this kind of open-ended world thing, and you're also getting challenge out of the enemies with that, and you're Metroidvaniaing across the map and stuff. You know? Yeah. So that's kind of the thing, and you know, whatchamacallit? Lizard Cube. You know, solid job with all of that, and we'll see with increased difficulty and stuff, and later on in the game how it goes and stuff. But the Blasphemous dudes like just fucking crushed it with Ragebound. And I think their current like metric, it goes Blasphemous 1, Ragebound, and then Blasphemous 2 at the bottom. Okay, interesting. And then on beating Ragebound, you unlock hard mode, which has a third ending, you know? Cool. So it's like, oh, sick. All right, jump back in there. So now that aside, of course, I was also like, with Skong dropping, I should go. Yeah, that Skong did drop. That Skong did drop. And with Skong dropping, let me go get that old save file on Hollow Knight
and
Mhm.
see what I needed to do to refresh.
Yeah, what was left there?
Let me go see what I could refresh on. So I went to the Switch 2 and I loaded up and found my cloud save from 2018.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I was like, okay, cool. This is right with where the last boss was, when I was kind of like feeling like, there's too much game here, but there's a bunch that I didn't go out and
Oh yeah,
fully
there was
explore.
you went to the final boss, but you just didn't do some of the
A
side
bunch
stuff.
of side stuff, exactly. So I took the time to go back and use the refreshing opportunity to do stuff that I didn't do, one of those being Grim Troop, right? So did that.
That dude's a bitch.
Yeah, that was fun. And when it comes time to make that choice, I was kind of like, okay, let me just see what I'm in for here, and like it's like, oh, there's a super boss if you go back and face Grim directly. So I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's go. And difficulty, it's like, okay, here we go. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Here comes Night King Grim, and I was like, and that was a nice sit down and grind it out challenge, and yeah, got that done. Took a couple tries, took quite a couple tries. Not as bad as some of my Elden Ring full day, lock-ins, but very cool boss fight. Really loved it, and I really loved how yeah, it was. I guess it was about like, I was probably go at it for like an hour and a half or 2 hours or so, I'd say, and it felt like well, maybe less than that. But in any case, it felt like what was cool is this is a really, really hard boss fight, but it's also way less random. And it is therefore allowed to be aggressive in ways where if your pattern recognition is, picking up, you can handle how quickly and bullshit things can get at you, So I liked how that played off with that boss compared to some of the other hard bosses in the game. And then after checking that out, I went to Godmaster and started checking out some of that as well.
Godmaster, I feel very strongly, is bad.
So
I really, and I mean this, I really strongly dislike Godmaster.
Interesting. Okay, once I saw what it was, I went, oh, this is like a boss butch. This is just like boss rush. It's a mode that is a DLC section, And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I didn't feel as compelled because it was like there is some new content, but it's at the end essentially.
Yeah, no, that's why I don't like Godmaster. There are like, it's just a boss rush. No, like multiple brand new bosses that are literally the best boss fights in the game are at the end of like 22, 23 boss gauntlets. That's fucking stupid.
No.
Also, the game's like true ending is hidden behind a 25 boss rush with a unique final boss. That's fucking ridiculous.
Like, I'm always down for the true arena in Kirby where you have them all there ready to go and you can just go at it. But it shouldn't be that like, well, so, okay, the true arena also has like usually like a hidden final boss and then a little piece of lore that you get, like whether it's Morpho Knight or the True Void, and all that stuff. But the idea that like, no, there's actual original characters and content in this DLC, but you have it essentially at the end of this mode, that turns a lot of people off, and for me included. I was like, okay, well, I see what this is. I'm not going to go all the way through this to go see what that content is, right? Grim Troop,
Pure Vessel is like the best boss fight in that game, and I'm not going to see it because I don't want to go through a 23 boss rush.
What they easily could have and should have done, I think, would have been to make Godhome an area where there's a unique dungeon and new characters and bosses and all the new stuff in as a part of progressing through that zone, while you have access to challenging all these old bosses and doing these rushes for points and for other stuff, But like putting them together and putting the progression mandatorily at the end is like, that's not a they didn't, I think, plan that the way they ought to have. That being said, though, I was like, okay, cool. Now that I've done that, I think I'm ready to skong.